Is my voice clear? Can everyone hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can hear you, and this is
Perfect.
Leslie. I'm here. How are you? How's
All right.
everybody?
Hi, Leslie. How are you doing?
Good.
Hi, Leslie.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
It's so
been
good to
so
see
long.
you, Yuka. It has. It's so good to see you.
Sorry?
I said, I'm so happy to see you.
Oh, yeah. Same here.
Well, I'm going to go on mute, and I'll probably stop my video because I'm
All right.
still like trying to help my kids get food and all that, but I am here.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Once we start, I'll mute everyone, and then Yuka, Araya, you can unmute yourself, and we can start.
Okay.
Wait another minute. I think this is recording in my computer. Let me check. Yeah, it is recording. Nice background, Yuka.
Try to represent. It's really nice that DePauw has this, now I can show this to any of the client meeting and they can always ask me questions about DePauw. And
Oh, is that
it's
specifically
a good
for
conversation
Zoom?
starter. Yeah, I think so. But I think there's like a Snap camera application where you can download it and you can use this kind of background for Google Hangout as well.
Interesting.
So, yeah. It's a good conversation starter for anyone.
Yeah. All right. I think we have a decent number of people, so we'll start, and it's going to be recorded anyway and shared with all the students. So I'm going to mute everyone now, and then Yuka and Araya, you can unmute yourself. All right. Everyone's muted. All right. Let's start with a quick round of introductions of the exec team. And once that's done, we'll jump straight into the questions. I think we're going to go over 5 questions that were chosen from the ones that were sent to us and the ones we got personally to our social media accounts and email and stuff. And once that's done, at the end, we'll talk a little bit about ISAA in general, high level, what projects we're involved in, all the stakeholders that we're collaborating with on campus, off campus. And we also, anyone who wants to ask any other questions that we aren't covering now, you can send a chat to me or to everyone if you want your name to be seen. And we'll try to take a few minutes at the end and address those questions as well. All right, I'll start. My name is Abhishek Sambatur. A lot of you may know me, may not know me. I graduated in 2019, and I'm currently working at a company called BC Forward in Indianapolis as a junior data analyst. I started ISAA this year with a few people that I nominated, and we are trying to take this mainstream. But I'll let Yuka and Araya introduce themselves now.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here today at 7 p.m. on Sunday, where you could be potentially eating ice cream, watching Netflix. My name is Yuka Kirajima. I'm a class of 2017. I recognize some of you, of course, and I see some of you online as well. And I'm sort of a vice president of ISAA, where Abhishek is doing a lot of work. I'm really excited to answer any of the questions you may have, as well as support you guys throughout the process of, finding yourself, finding yourself a right career, and building a good alumni network. So, nice to meet you.
Okay, hi guys. My name is Araya. I'm currently a junior at DePauw. I'm an English literature and religious studies double major, and I'm one of the student delegates for ISAA. And I just want to say thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for sending us questions. And we're looking forward to just answering all of them.
Awesome. Thanks, Araya. Thanks, Yuka. All right, we'll jump straight into the questions. Araya, do you want to cover the ones that Ramsha was initially supposed to moderate?
Yes.
Yeah, you have the document, right?
Yes. Okay. So the first question: how is ISAA different from the current alumni and student organizations dedicated towards helping international students?
All right, cool. So I think ISA is different in two key ways that I see. One, I think there are very few organizations that are targeted towards, let's say, international students that are in the latter years of their DePauw career, so juniors and seniors. And specifically, I think ones that are looking for internships and jobs that don't necessarily have the same type of networking opportunities that domestic students get, let's say from the Hubbard Center and Management Fellows and other programs like that. And the second way, I think we currently don't have a way to engage alumni, international alumni specifically, who are not on campus and who don't live in America. And I kind of saw that gap when I was trying to network with more international alums who kind of went through the OPT process, the H-1B process in my senior year. Because while the DePauw alums are great and were willing to help, very few of them understand the challenges of being an international student and graduating into a market where you need sponsorship to work and to be able to live in America afterwards. So I think those are the two ways that ISAA differs from the other student-led orgs and the other alumni organizations associated with DePauw. Yuka, do you have anything else to add to that?
You pretty much explained everything, but I guess the idea of alumni chapters has been present for about 5 years. But back then, when I was a student, I wasn't really able to execute it pretty well. This time, we're very fortunate to have help from Leslie and Joanna, Alumni Office and International Student Services Office, so that we can support both current students and alumni, even the potential alumni that we don't necessarily have network yet. So that's the thing that you can definitely count us on, as well as we will work harder to make sure that you have less trouble, or you don't have to encounter any trouble that you don't have to.
Yeah. Araya, do you have anything to add from a student perspective?
I think you guys covered pretty much everything. Like international students, especially juniors and seniors, lack support in like searching for internships or searching for like future jobs and like what to do after graduation. So I think a very big part of like ISAA is like being able to like connect with other like international student alumni so that they can like serve as a sort of like mentorship and guidance in the future.
Cool. Thanks. I think can move on to the next question.
Yes. So the next question: who are all the stakeholders involved in ISAA and what specific roles are they performing?
All right, cool. So the three kind of main categories are the exec team, of course. There's the four of us right now. We're gonna add two more alums who will take up vice president roles. One will be an operations vice president, and another would be a finance person. That will probably be announced in the next couple of months. The exec team is pretty much the ones that are in charge of planning, executing, implementing any projects, collaborating with on-campus stakeholders and alumni. And the second, I think, is on campus, we have, sorry, I just got a weird chat on the Zoom thing. Okay. The second, we have on-campus stakeholders. So we have Leslie Smith and Uriah Brown. They're currently in this meeting. they've been collaborating with us from the alumni office side, and we have a few more people in the alumni office helping us build out our web platform and also helping us organize some of the projects planned in Q3 and Q4 this year. And then from the international student side, we have Joanna from the International Student Services, and we have, sorry, one second. Okay, I just made you the host. Sorry, and we have, we're gonna get Lutfi involved eventually. I've not been able to set up a call with him, but on campus we have the ISS office, we have Joanna. We're gonna get 3 more students involved in the next few months and over the next semester. We'll send out, I guess, advertising for those positions, those roles, so people can apply to them. And finally, we'll get a few more alums involved, and I think that's more from the national chapter's perspective, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But the 4 categories, we have the exec team, the ISS office, the alumni office of DePauw, and we'll establish an advisory board, which involves a few key members from all of these different categories. And that advisory board will probably launch when our website and ISA officially launches in June. Specifically, I think roles as such, I think I've discussed already all the roles they're performing. Is there anything else you want to add, Yuka?
So those are, I guess, I would define as the core members, where we will do all the work for you. But I think definitely there's some ways that everyone can involve in terms of, you can always bring a new person to your network, or you can always participate in your local events that we might host, or you can always send us some recommendations or questions so that we can better support you guys. So, like, in a way, everyone is a stakeholder in this organization, and we're really hoping that everyone takes a part of it. And yeah, if you know anybody who might be interested in taking up a more role, definitely shoot an email to Abhishek so that he can consider that and then count that or put it on his agenda.
Yep, we do want to get more students involved, and right now a lot of the behind the scenes work has been happening at a higher level with alums and with our on-campus collaborators. But I think in the next couple of months and going into fall 2020, we'll get more students involved, we'll get ISA involved and all the other student arcs once things kick off officially. All right. I think we're good to jump to the next question.
Okay, so next question. How are international students and alumni being affected by COVID-19, and what are a few ways to cope in these circumstances?
Sorry, I think we have someone trying to... Yuka, were you able to remove that person?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Aria, can you repeat that question?
Yeah, absolutely. So how are international students and alumni being affected by COVID-19, and what are a few ways to cope in these circumstances?
All right, I think Yuka, you can start with this one.
It's a very difficult question.
Yeah, I don't want to take this
but thanks
question.
for
I'm sorry,
asking
can you
us.
repeat the question? Can you repeat the question? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So how are international students and alumni being affected by COVID-19, and what are a few ways to cope in these circumstances?
Everyone good?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's very difficult. I mean, where to begin? Okay, so I participated in this online webinar a few weeks ago where a lot of peace educators from all over the world joined and shared the current situation in their region. And hearing that, I could see there are just so many different ways that are affecting each country and each region. So I can't necessarily, put everyone in international category and speak for themselves. But I would say personally, in a good way. I now get to connect with all of you online, so that's cool. But the downside is definitely I see a lot of sad news, and it makes me really depressed, and just starting to lose the hope of the situation might not get better soon, or me not able to find the right career as a next step is terrifying. And so I think in general, like, take care of yourself and reach out to any of your peers and talk about your problems. I think that's the first step you should take. And then after that, you can definitely figure out a way as a DePauw student.
Yeah, I think from my conversations, I've actually talked to a lot of alums and students in the past couple of months since this whole thing started. From a student side, I think it's really stressful, especially if you're a senior trying to graduate, remotely first, trying to finish classes, do, all your legal stuff with OPT and all that remotely, and then also try to find a job and stuff in this climate. It's not easy. And I think recent alums who've graduated, a lot of them are kind of stuck working from home, or have gone back home and trying to come back to America. So it's a lot of disturbance, I think, across not just students, alums, and just in general. I think a few ways I've seen people coping with it. They're trying to, even despite the social distancing, they're trying to at least go and stay with a family or a friend, practicing like safe social distancing practices, but they're trying to take care of their mental health, trying to make sure they can support and help whoever they can. That's one reason I think we kind of pushed up the student forum to this month. Because initially I wanted to do it in June after everything went live, but I decided this might probably be a good time to get everyone on here and kick this off to see if we can help people. Another thing that happened recently with ISAA, we got a lead in Indiana. There's a person that we know at the Hindu Temple of Central Indiana who's raising a fund specifically for Indiana students who are stuck trying to go home or who've been displaced by COVID-19. So I'm actually trying to set up a call with their board this week to see if they would be interested in helping DePauw students. So that I think will directly help students, especially as the summer approaches. They will probably have to find a place to live if they don't want to go back home. And, I'm sure a lot of people have potentially have their offers rescinded with their internships because companies are not, doing internships anymore. So they'll have to find a way to support themselves and find a place to live in the next few months. So feel free to reach out to us. You have our email, you have our social media information. We'll try to set you up with whoever we know and try to connect you with potential people that we know that could lead to internships and jobs. Yuka and I are available and willing to help. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say on COVID-19.
Yeah, I think a lot of students have been faced with the very difficult decision of whether to stay on campus or go back home. And I know a lot of you that I'm seeing here are still on campus, but even those who did decide to go back home, a lot of them will be on completely different schedules and such. So I know those are some of the difficulties. But I know also a lot of people are doing a really good job of staying connected with each other and giving a structure to the daily lives in order to cope with everything. So those might be some good ways to deal with these weird circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, if you're student leaders, definitely try to do some sort of online event or something so that your members can stay connected. Maybe you're already doing that, I don't know, but I think it's really important for you to really reunite once in a while. So yeah, I encourage you to do that.
All right, I think we can jump to the next question.
Okay. Any advice for graduating seniors that are trying to find a job, or sophomores or juniors trying to find internships?
All right. The question is, any advice for graduating? Okay, we're kind of going off of the COVID-19 thing. Okay. I think, so I'll kind of speak from my personal experience, because I graduated in a world where we didn't have COVID-19 last year and into a very good job market. And I still found considerable challenges being an international student, trying to find a job after graduation. So the things I did, I didn't mass apply to jobs and spend a bunch of time on my applications, on general job postings on LinkedIn, Handshake, all of those places, because I just wasn't optimistic of landing an interview using that route. Instead, I tried to reach out to people I'd connected with over my 3-4 years and try to set up calls with them and see if they had specific openings in their companies. And then once they referred me to those roles, I would apply. And that led to more interviews. So I think I probably only applied to like 10 or 12 positions my senior year. And I would say I got around 5 to 6 interviews. But the sucky part was a lot of those interviews, in the middle of the interview, the interviewer realized that I was an international student and that I needed sponsorship. So kind of ended awkwardly, where they would be like, oh, sorry, we don't sponsor international students. But I at least was able to get more interviews and using that method, trying the personal connections and networking route. And I would say sophomores, juniors looking for internships, try to use the DePauw network. A lot of DePauw alums are in very good positions in the Midwest in companies that you might be interested in, and they will try to help you with internships. And seniors as well, try to go back to any connections you've made in the past few years. And if you haven't really made too many connections, don't freak out, because people are still willing to help. If you reach out with them, have your resume in check, have a strong elevator pitch, set up an informational interview call, and, in 30 minutes, you can try to impress them and see if they'll help you connect with people. I've made connections even in my senior year, as late as March and April, that led to interviews. So don't lose heart. Like, there's still a lot of time. OPT is like at least 3 months away for most people after you apply for it. So keep looking, keep searching, reach out to alums, reach out to other students, and yeah, keep applying.
I'd like to echo on that. So some of you or most of you might be wondering, if you haven't made connections, how you can make those connections. A simple way is just LinkedIn. I guess some of you might know that, but you can basically filter out searches on LinkedIn and search people based on companies and that have graduated from DePauw. So you can basically find all DePauw alumni that work in a particular company on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And that helped me a lot personally. I reached out to about 100 people. Okay, I don't even remember how many they were. There were a lot, and most of them responded back. And we set up a call and we talked. And most of them even referred me for positions in their companies. And actually, that's how I landed a job. So if you're wondering how to connect, LinkedIn is an awesome way to connect. Have your resume ready. You can even ask those alumni to check your resume and give feedback on your resume before the call, and yeah, that always helps. So that if you want to know more, you can ask me directly, like email me, or you can ask Abi or Daniel Sakib in the call. But yeah, that's a great way to connect with people.
All right. Thanks, Raza.
Thanks, Raza.
And don't worry if you don't know them. Hey, Yuka. And don't worry if you don't know those people. Like I didn't know any of them, but they're always willing to help. That's the DePauw network.
All right, Yuka, do you have anything else to add?
Well, when I was a student on campus, I didn't realize the part of networking, even though I was working at the Harbor Center. because like I couldn't really imagine the way to get a job through network. But like to be honest, like my current job, I didn't find it through networking. I just applied online. But now like I can see more and more the importance of networking, and it's not about just meeting a bunch of people. It's about making connections with the people you meet. There's a huge difference, and it's easier to do that with the DePauw people just because you have common topics to talk about. But if you're in Greek organization, you can even reach out to somebody from different university in the same chapter. If you are part of honor society, you may be able to reach out, use that network. You can use your family's network. You can use your friends' network, whatever it works for you, that you can set up a good friendship in a way. Use that, because that will definitely take you to a place that you would have never imagined. And another thing is networking is really, really important in a way to actually find a position, because a lot of positions now are not really online, like it's not visible. Like a lot of them are, like a lot of companies are trying to find candidates through their own network, and if they can't find anybody suitable for the position, they will put it online, because you know that will take a lot of marketing costs, that will take a lot of human resources costs. So if you're interested in a company but not having any opening position, just talk to somebody inside the organization. You may be able to find a position for you. One good example is a friend of mine applied to this company through an official route, and he got rejected the first round. He didn't even like have a chance to do an interview with them. And then he contacted somebody that was in DePauw alum in the organization, and then he took me to the final round of interview, and he got the job. So I think it might be a rare case, it might be not. You may not be able to find out until you give it a try. And yeah, and you know, as you know, like the DePauw people are nice. So just give it a try. You'll find a way.
They're actually pretty nice. I wasn't expecting how nice they were. Like they almost 90% of them scheduled calls.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
and by the way, I know one of my friends that like when he called the alumni was so like impressed by how much he was interested in the company that he didn't even like ask for any interview, like a coding or any technical interview. He just straight up gave him the job.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
So
I will say I think a lot of seniors and even juniors at this time are probably restless to apply to places and spend time on applications. And I would say like that restlessness is good. And you can use that to kind of polish your resume, show that to people around you, and try to put out literally the best version of your resume possible. And literally in your intro emails, if you cold email someone, or if someone gives you a referral, attach your resume to it, right? And if someone just like, I don't know what they're doing, if they just glance at your resume and it's a good resume, they will try to help you out. You know, they will be impressed by that resume, and they will try to help you out. So that could be a good way to, you know, help people. But yeah, I think we've pretty much covered as much as we can on this question. So let's.
Can I?
Okay, yeah, you
just
can
a little
add,
bit. Sorry. So we talked a lot about networking, but I think one very, very important thing that I didn't realize that I had to do was being able to translate the DePauw context to a larger scale. So at DePauw, if you're, let's say, presidential ambassador, everyone knows the role. If you are, let's say, ISAA president, everyone knows you. But you have to be able to translate that into a real world term. And that's where the Hubbard Center can come in and help you. Because, you know, as international students, we all have our own international problems. But if you are especially applying to a job in the US market, you have to be able to understand the US market context. And I think the Hubbard Center can do the best job supporting you guys. So in terms of making the most out of the campus resources, you should definitely reach out to a couple of different offices so that you can make sure that you are a good candidate to begin the job hunting process in the first place.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Raza kind of covered like the LinkedIn route. Like I've used that too, where I've gone to, let's say, a specific company. Let's say Ernst & Young is one company I applied for. And once I pulled it up, there were like 18, 20 DePauw alums. And I reached out to a few that I potentially thought would, talk to me. And I did get interviews that way. But the thing with LinkedIn is the struggle that I had was most people don't respond to the in-mails on LinkedIn. I don't know why that's the thing. It might be a cultural thing where people don't really check their in-mails or don't respond to in-mails. So I would try to take those alums that I found, go to DePauw's online directory. A lot of students don't know this, but DePauw has like an online directory of alumni on their official website. And you can get access to it if you send an email to the registrar, I think, or to the alumni office. They give you a login and you can put in the name and try to get their email through the directory. And that worked many times for me, where I would use LinkedIn in collaboration with this online directory that we have and find emails in that way. So definitely, if you don't have a login, reach out to that office or whatever and get that login, because it's really helpful. And we'll send out, I guess, information on how to do that as well at the end of the call. All right,
Yeah,
I think we kind of
that
spent a lot of time on this
and reach out to
question.
people. Oh, sorry, Abby, go on.
Okay, just we'll add one more thing and we'll have to jump
Yeah,
to the
go
next
on, go
question.
on.
We have to move to the next question. So if you have anything to add, then
yeah. So just reach out to as many people as you can too. Like a lot of times you might not be able to find people in the directory. Take Abhi's route. But if you're not able to find people, just reach out to more people. It's economics. The more places you reach out to, the more replies you might get in total. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll try to find the URL to that and send it to everyone in the chat, but we'll put it on our story and stuff in Instagram later tonight. But Araya, can we jump to the next question?
Yes.
Went overboard with that one.
Mhm.
All right, but it was an important question. So thank you everyone for adding your input.
How do we expand diversity among the international student community on the PAUS campus? So this person cites examples as like countries such as Australia and countries from Africa and Europe. And is such diversity needed on campus?
All right. So yeah, this is a question sent directly from a student, and from a student from a country, I won't name who, but from a country that we don't see a lot of international students come regularly. And I do think expanding, one thing I think she asks, is it even important, right? Let's say we have students coming from China, Japan, Vietnam, Pakistan. Is it better to just focus on those countries and ensure we get a healthy population of students every year from those countries? And I think, yeah, that is important, because we build a community, we build a network of people from those countries. But expanding is also a critical thing to do, because when we get students from other countries, DePauw in general is growing, like our name as a school is growing. Let's say the value of our education, not just international students, but all DePauw students, like it gets uplifted by the cultural, the traditional facts and features that these students bring and add value to our campus in those ways. So I do think it's important, and the only way forward is by expanding the network, by helping out recruitment, by helping out Lutfi's office, and ensuring we can put alums in those recruiting events. And that's one project we will talk about at the end of, after the questions are done, what we're trying to do in that space. But we do want to have more students from Africa, from Australia, from Europe. We have Araya. She's like, our only student from Spain right now, right?
Yeah.
Do we have anyone else? I don't think we do, right?
There's a first year.
It's the first year, okay. Yeah, but we have we have limited students, but we do appreciate everything they bring. And I think it makes our international community stronger and our DePauw community strong as well. Yuka, you want to add to the recruiting aspect to this? How do we
Recruiting
expand?
Let's see. Well, I don't know where this question is coming from. So I'm not sure if I'm like able to answer the question properly without offending the person. But in terms of recruitment, I think each region definitely has that local context to it. So for example, in Japan, if you go to Japanese universities, it's safer. So why spending so much money to go to the US and not having any job prospects?
Yeah.
So in that way, alumni can just show how successful, I guess, they can be, or how well put together they can be after 4 years. That's one way to do that. So yeah, definitely each country has its own norm or idea about going to the US, especially liberal arts college like DePauw. So we definitely need your help translating that the DePauw value to your local context. Is such diversity needed on campus? Yes, it's beautiful to have diverse population on campus. Is it needed? I think having inclusive international community is much more important than just having diversity. It's really nice to have a lot of organizations valuing their own traditions, and I think that's necessary to have those. But at the same time, if international students don't have the solid community among themselves, they can't even appreciate the diversity they have within. Another thing is that we tend to categorize international students by continent, but it's not necessarily the case, right? And even the people from the same country, we do have different personalities, and so just having dialogue, just having conversation with each person, sharing your heart and soul, I think that's more important than just having diversity and not having any community within.
Cool, thank you. All right. I think that's pretty much all the planned questions that we have. I did get one question during the call, and it was specifically, it was from Leslie. Leslie's asking how the Hubbard Center has helped international students find internships and jobs, and in what ways that can be improved. I'll let Yuka start with this because she worked in the Hubbard Center when she was here.
I was there for 3.5 years. Well, so I think first of all, Hubbard Center is not the place for you to find, like, it's not helping. Well, they don't find you a job, they don't find you an internship, they help you find a job on your own, and there's a huge difference to it. In the long run, I think it's better for your own sake, because once you're out in the world, you don't have anybody to help you. And so being able to have that like understanding and skill set to polish your resume and polish your interview, I think that's essential, and you should definitely utilize the Hubbard Center more in that way. Hubbard Center and International Student Services Office published a guide specifically for international students to navigate the job finding process, as well as how to nail interviews, how to look out for any visa information. And so check it out. It's a very comprehensive guide.
We're gonna put that on the website, right? Once we go live.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. So that's 2. And the last thing is just talk to the Hubbard Center people. They on their own have a lot of connections. So if you click with them, they can even probably refer you to somebody that they know. And so, polish your resume, interview skills through them. Look at the guide, and also talk to them as much as you can, so that you will establish personal connections with them. And in that way, you can definitely reach out to them as alum as well. Because
Yeah,
I reach out to them all the time and they help me a lot.
Yeah, I think the ways in which the Hubbard Center does help is like the resume reviews. You can do mock interviews, like the mock interview aspect. Like I think if you can set those up, those are helpful. But in ways I think it's currently lacking is I think now they have a way which students can use, like the career fair, for example. There's a way to filter out which companies sponsor OPT students and which ones don't, and they have a way on Handshake, I think, to do that, which before they didn't. So they've improved that bit. But I do think they can bring more companies that are willing to sponsor for H1B to the career fair. Like that specific portion needs to be improved.
For sure.
Because I heard last year and even my 3-4 years, there was only 2 to 3 companies that were willing to hire international students at the career fair every year. So that's something we'll try to eventually work with them on.
Quick question.
Hey, Daniel,
You're really
yeah, there's a lot of background noise. You want to send us a chat real quick?
Oh, is it better? Sorry,
Yeah.
you say anything? Yeah. So I wanted to ask, like, in terms of job search and in everything else, as Abhi mentioned, that we don't get enough companies, and also we also talked about how this will help connect alumni, international alumni. But what exactly are we doing in terms of connecting? Like, for example, if I graduate today, someone from as a junior, sophomore, how can they reach out to me? Number one. Number two, how can I reach out to different people? So this is like one aspect. Like I wanted to know like what exactly ISA is doing there. And secondly, in terms of resources, is there a website we can go to, like an app we can go to, or if we have to, like for example, the number of companies that apply for H1Bs or sponsor H1Bs, there are different companies. Do we have like those resources available to us through ISA?
Yeah, so once the Q&A round is done, we'll kind of talk a little bit about the short-term projects that we're working on. And I think one of those projects directly pertains to the questions Danielle brought up. So we will discuss that right now after this question is done. But Yukata, do you want to add anything else to this question before we...
Well, so I feel like the questions were two-part, right? Like one is the difficulty of actually finding a job or the company that is sponsoring H1B visa and OPT. And personally thinking maybe they're not able to really advertise it publicly, saying we are sponsoring H1B because that's chaotic. Yeah. So definitely use our platform to reach out to alumni. We do have a lot of alum actually still staying in the US, finding their own job and then finding H1B visa sponsors and stuff like that. So that's number one. Number two, I think there's also the difficulty of, or like not having enough companies present at the career fair. And yes, I agree, the Hubbard Center can do, I guess, the better job to invite more companies and being mindful about international students when they're planning the career fair. I've been saying that to them forever, and so and it's definitely improving for sure.
Yeah, I think when I was a student, I kind of had a discussion with Nick Minnick. I think I think he's still in the Hubbard Center, but he was saying the challenges in general, if you look at like a school like IU, their career fair has a lot of companies, and even those fairs are pretty much, they don't really have that many firms that sponsor international students. So he's saying it's just the appeal to attract more companies to DePauw as DePauw grows and as we become more well-known and we get more companies at the career fair, we'll also get more that are willing to hire international students. So that was kind of the angle he gave me when I was a student.
Nick and other Hubbard Center members are like deeply caring about international students. I ensure that. But I think one of the things that I actually appreciate the Hubbard Center is that, well, and DePauw in general, like because we're not the Ivy schools or anything that are well known to the country, like we have to be able to really sell ourselves to potential employer, right? And so in a way that we are given a chance to really practice that before even going to the real world. A lot of students out there who went to Ivy schools, who went to like Stanford, like they are already given the chance all the time, and they might not be able to sell themselves in a more effective way. And so it's really how you look at the things. And personally, I think it was nice that that I had to learn on my own and with the help from different alum and campus resources, that I learned how to sell myself.
Right.
Another thing is that even if there's no company supporting international students at the career fair, just go talk to them, because you might not, like, you never know what kind of connections they have, right? So if the company specifically doesn't sponsor international students, you might be able to find different companies that actually do sponsor through that network. And secondly, like, you can definitely talk to them and have your small conversation nailed down. So just go to career fair, don't ignore the opportunity, just make the most out of it in a way that you can. So that will be my advice for you.
I mean,
I know it's difficult though.
Yeah,
I know it's difficult.
If nothing
but,
else, you get the experience of just communicating with people on the spot when you're put on the spot, and practicing your elevator pitch, because that's always helpful. But I think we might be running a little over, so we'll conclude the Q&A round. If anyone has any more questions, please feel free to send it to our email. I think I already shared that information, and via social media and other platforms. Now I'll give a quick update on 3 projects that we're currently slated for the rest of the year, and a little more information on when we're launching, what all we're doing regarding that launch. So in terms of launching officially, I think June 1st is our tentative date. And as part of the launch, we have been collaborating with the web team at DePauw. They're helping us build out an extension page. So as part of DePauw's main website, but we'll have our own web page. And we initially wanted to build our own database, like Danielle brought up, like how do I, advertise to international students, hey, these are all the international alums available. But that didn't seem like the most feasible option, because we didn't want to build something from scratch when there is already a directory, a database that exists. What we're trying to do is work with the DePauw's team to improve and modify the directory they have to, let's say, include more filters and the ability to search for specifically international alums. And that's still ongoing. There isn't a concrete deadline on that, and we'll work on that. We'll provide more information as that goes. But with the launch, we'll get the website. We'll put all the resources that we have on the website, more information on what's upcoming, a prospectus that's public, so people know exactly what the projects that we're dealing with of that in that specific academic year are, and probably a newsletter also in the near future. And then the 3 projects that I mentioned, the first one, the website is kind of part of that first project and the launch, and getting that directory where we have an international student and alumni identifier. We're trying to find, I guess, the cleanest and the most effective way to do that, because right now there isn't a way to filter by country or nationality or anything like that. This will directly help students to search for alums, and we want to make sure that alums also have their most recent and updated email on there, because a lot of the older alums have emails that are outdated or ones that they don't use anymore. So it'll be an information kind of update on that. I think the second project is we're trying to establish national chapters of ISAA in every major, let's say, international student like market or country that we get students from. We already have national chapter presidents for Japan, India, and Pakistan. Right now we're in conversations, but we'll have more national chapters for Vietnam, China, and probably for Europe and Africa, we might do one or two like broader general presidents and try to engage some of these like, let's say, weaker markets. And once that happens in June, July, we're planning for, this is still like way high level, we're planning to do a Monon watch party across all these chapters. There'll be a lot of differences with timing and stuff. I know Japan is like 12 hours or 13 hours ahead, so it'll be like in the middle of the night for them at 1:07 p.m. Yeah, so the logistics of that are still going to be difficult, but the idea is to get those national chapters in, and that'll help with recruiting. It'll help Lutfi get these alums involved in the recruiting process, because when prospective students do see alums at recruiting events, I think it does improve chances of them applying and coming to DePauw. Yuka can talk a little bit about that, national chapters, but we have the recruiting side of it, and also like the more volunteering and engagement side of it, doing events for alums who are back at home and aren't in the US anymore, and trying to engage them in any way that we can think of. And finally, the last thing that we are working on, and we haven't really started this one yet, but we're trying to establish a general fund for ISAA, and we're trying to do fundraising through international alums, and we're in the process of establishing a committee to oversee that funds and how those funds will be channeled back to help international students on campus. And this is all like super early stage right now, but the goal is to set up a general fund which receives funds at the beginning of every year, and that is decided by students, by ISS staff, by ISAA, how and where we want to channel those funds towards. That can be towards improving networking opportunities, providing resources for students who need to stay during breaks on campus. I know a lot of students run out of their meal plans and stuff, and whatever way possible, but we'll try to involve as many different people to oversee that fund once it's established. But those are the three projects that we're currently slated for Q3, Q4 2020. So all of this and more we will publish on our website once it's up and running in June. All right, that's my monologue for the day, so I'm done.
Okay, I just wanted to say thank you everyone for joining us here today. And I understand it's a very difficult time for all of you, especially for graduating seniors and for those who are on 1 year limit of OPT currently doing it. Yeah. So yeah, like it's a really difficult time, and I hope you're taking care of yourself well. Definitely reach out to us anytime, reach out to your fellows anytime. And we're hoping to do a lot more, hopefully events and
programming,
community building through our national chapter presidents as well as through execs. So if you could join us again, I would really appreciate it. I think, what was I gonna say? Oh, I think if you're still on campus and if you're student leaders, I think it's really important for you to speak up, because nothing will ever change if you just keep it to yourself. And it's emotionally draining process for you to speak up all the time and not seeing any improvements. But the more people speak up, the more the faster the situation will change. I definitely believe in that, especially at DePauw. So as international student representatives, please do continue to engage with a lot of staff and professors on campus, and give them constructive feedback, not just, criticisms, or not just you whining to them, but actually give them, insights, because you know about your situation better than anybody, and they need that kind of insights to improve their service. And I think each and every person at DePauw is really hoping to do the best job they can do for any student on campus. So yeah, I hope you do that and make DePauw even better place for any incoming students. And if we continue to do that, I think the job market will be more open for all of us. So yeah, but stay tuned and stay engaged. I hope to see you guys again soon.
Yeah.
Arya, do you have anything?
Rhea, do you want to add anything else? Final
yeah, I just want to reiterate, thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you for your very insightful questions, and I hope this was informative for all of you, and that you will not hesitate to reach out to us if you have any other concerns, questions, and yeah, just keep pushing forward. This is a very strange time for everyone, so hopefully by continuing to build community and connect with each other, we can all support each other in the best way possible, so that we may all if not necessarily thrive, at least do the best we can with the circumstances that we have right now.
Yep. All right, everyone, thank you for joining. I hope you have a good rest of the Sunday and Monday for Yuka. And yeah, feel free to reach out to us. You have our information now. You'll get a lot more information, let's say directly from our DePauw reps. So that will, help you stay up to date. And one thing I didn't mention is we're gonna try to get a DePauw email. I don't know what we need to do to make that happen, but we'll definitely try to make that happen. Shuto, yeah, I see the cooking going on there. It's probably where you guys are, Bloomington Street Hall. Yep. All right. All right, everyone, take care. Stay safe. It's crazy out there, but together, I think we can help each other and make it through this rough time. All right.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.